Let's just start with a big one, shall we? Does the universe think? Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds more like a late-night philosophy question than a physics one. But, it's exactly these kinds of questions that really push the boundaries of what we think we know. And sometimes a single question really can change everything. It can force us to just completely re-examine our most basic ideas about reality, about life, and even our place in the cosmos. And that is exactly what we're going to do today.
We are about to go on a journey that kicks off with these huge cosmic questions. And believe it or not, it's going to end with a proposal for a brand new fundamental law of reality itself.
To even begin to tackle the biggest questions out there, you need a guide, right? Someone who isn't afraid to ask them in the first place.
And that guide for us is Paul Davies. He's a theoretical physicist who has spent his entire career wrestling with the most profound mysteries of existence. Seriously, this is the kind of thinker who sees incredible connections where most of us just see empty space.
So, when your job title is basically Guide to Reality, what exactly do you study? Well, as you can imagine, it's pretty vast.
I mean, look at this. Davies' work covers everything from how life even got started, to the mind-boggling scale of the universe, to the very nature of our own consciousness. He's deep into astrobiology, the search for alien life, and even the philosophy of science itself. He's the guy asking the big ones, like why is life so wonderfully weird? And for that matter, why is there anything at all?
And this is what's so cool about his work. He operates on these two completely different scales. He's trying to connect the inner world of our own minds, our consciousness, with the grand sweeping outer world of the cosmos. He's suggesting that maybe, just maybe, they're governed by the same deep principles.
So, what's the common thread here? What possibly connects all these seemingly separate fields, from the very first living cell all the way up to a thinking universe? Well, Davies believes he's found it.
And that thread is information. For decades, we've been taught that reality is basically made of two things, matter and energy. But Davies, he argues for a third pillar, something just as fundamental, information. He suggests that life isn't just a bunch of chemical reactions. It's about how information is organized, stored, and processed.
So, how does this idea grow into something even more radical? Well, this whole concept of information being a third pillar of reality, it has inspired other thinkers to take the next logical step.
And one of those thinkers is Dr. Arend van Kampen. He was so inspired by Davies' work that he's proposed a bold new universal law, the equivalence of matter, energy, and information. And let's be clear, this isn't just some philosophical musing. He's proposing a new law of physics.
Okay, so let's dig into this a little. To really get what this law is saying, we need to understand a couple of key concepts. First up, entropy. Now, we usually think of it as just a measure of disorder or randomness. Imagine a perfectly shuffled deck of cards. That's high entropy. But here's the twist. You can also think of entropy as the amount of information we are missing about a system. We're missing the information about the order of those cards.
And then you've got the flip side, negentropy. It's the total opposite of entropy. It's all about order, structure, complexity. In Van Kampen's theory, it gets really simple. Negentropy literally is information. It's the stuff that organizes matter and energy into all the cool, complex systems we see, from a single living cell to a giant redwood tree.
So, how does this whole new trinity actually work? Well, it's all about balance. When matter, energy, and information are in a state of coherence, when they form this balanced trinity, the system functions. It survives, it evolves, it thrives. But when they get out of balance, the system breaks down. It malfunctions and eventually decays.
Of course, this balance has to operate within certain rules. Van Kampen calls this framework real limite. The easiest way to think of it is as the laws of physics and biology that set the boundaries for, everything. It's the rule book, the playing field where the entire game of existence happens. You can't have a living thing that just defies the law of gravity, right? That's real limite.
Okay, so why does any of this matter to us, sitting here right now? I mean, a new law of physics can feel a little abstract,
but its implications are actually deeply personal.
According to Van Kampen, really understanding this isn't about running complex equations in a lab. Nope. The first, most critical step is actually a change in our own perception. We literally have to learn to see the world and ourselves in a completely different way.
And this is the big takeaway. This theory suggests that the fundamental laws of nature
aren't just for distant stars or tiny atoms. They apply directly to us. We, our societies, our entire ecosystem, we are all systems constantly striving for that balance of matter, energy, and information. We're not separate from nature. We are an intrinsic part of it.
Which leaves us with one final, absolutely mind-bending thought. If this theory is on the right track, it suggests that we're not just living within the rules of reality, but that we might just be the referees. Think about that for a second. If that's true, it changes our role in the universe entirely. Are we just passive observers watching the cosmos unfold? Or are we active participants with a responsibility to help maintain the very balance of reality itself?